Hello and welcome back to Technical Tales Agrarian Skies. Well, at the end of the last episode, I finally had my 3 pulverizers set up, feeding into a sifter with an autonomous activator. Thus, I was automatically sifting my dust in order to get redstone and metals and stuff like that. So you can see this chest is nice and full. Quite a bit of redstone, tons of metal, some blaze powder, gunpowder, bone meal, all sorts of stuff. Now, the problem with just doing that, though, is that there are materials you need to get from sand and gravel as well. So, once I had that up and running, I was able to quickly make myself 3 more pulverizers. And a second igneous extruder. So I've got 2 igneous extruders, and they are outputting cobble. Now, these pipes are set to round robin. That means that when this thing outputs cobble, it evenly distributes it to the left and right. Now, for some reason, I can't set that one to round robin. I don't know why. I think you can only do it on ones that are actually immediately coming out of an inventory. I'm not sure whether this round robin means it's going to evenly distribute between this pipe and that pipe, or whether it's going to evenly distribute between all inventories that are attached to this pipe. I think that might be how the logic works, and that's why you can't do it on like just a normal junction, because it's pointless. Anyway, so I've got 2 of them. They're outputting, evenly distributing. One goes to that pulverizer, one goes to that pulverizer. This one outputs to that pulverizer. Also, I now have 3 crucibles making me my lava. Now, these are fluid ducts. You can't change the mode on them. I think fluid just automatically flows everywhere in the pipe. So I made myself a second magmatic dynamo. They are feeding these leadstone energy cells, which means I can tell at a glance whether or not I've got plenty of power, and it means I've got a backup. And as you can see, the energy pipes are feeding downstairs. The lava then also goes to 2 smelteries. Yes, I have 2 smelteries. I will explain the reason why I have 2 smelteries in a moment. So, I've left these running for quite a while, and at the moment I'm just doing... I was using a vacuum tube at the end, in the final shot of the last video. There's a vacuum tube sucking it up. But once I had 3 of these things running side by side, and I didn't want to mix their outputs out, because that's going to make sorting more difficult. So because I didn't want to do that, I decided it was best to go back to the water stream surrounded by glass covers jobby that I'm doing here. So yeah, so these have all been running quite a lot. If I could just explain some of this pipe work to you. So this one just turns cobble into gravel and outputs it into this autonomous activator. I've got the system turned off right now because everything's pretty full. Now, when you grind cobble into gravel, you occasionally make sand. So that's what this one up here is for. This is whitelisted to only extract sand. And when it gets sand, it spits it out into this autonomous activator here, which is full of sand. Now, if this autonomous activator is full, I can't leave the sand sat in there, because if the sand builds up to 64 in there, this pulverizer stops working. Basically, it gets clogged. So, if this is full, then it goes up here. Now, that one is set to... This pipe is set to dense mode. Now, dense mode means items only go here as a matter of last resort. If there is an available inventory, they don't go there. So if there's room in there, the sand goes in there. If not, it goes to this trash can. And trash cans simply destroy anything you put in there. If I put a torch in there, the torch is gone. So this one is very similar. We also pulverize cobble into gravel. If we get any sand, it goes into there or the trash can. This one takes the sand, takes the gravel, and turns it into sand, which it outputs to there. Now it occasionally makes dust, and a very similar thing happens with the dust. If it makes dust, it goes and puts it over in the dust autonomous activator. And you get the idea. And again here, sometimes when pulverizing gravel into sand, sometimes you make dust. So it tries to skip over that one and put it in there, and if not, it goes to the trash can. So yeah, that's this setup. Now I have the problem of sorting it all and processing it all. And that's what we're going to sort of work on today. Now, I've made a start. I've got a load of better barrels here, and I've got the smelteries sort of working in a semi-automatic way, but they're not being fed by these yet. So, why do I have two? I have two because these three metals, gold, nickel, and copper, mix with other metals and will make an alloy. And I don't want that to happen, so I need to process these three separately from these six. There's three there, and the other three are on that side. Now the way I've got this is these are just smeltery drains with a fluid pipe, and each one of these has an autonomous activator that's been whitelisted to a particular molten liquid. So this will only extract lead. It puts it into this this basin, and once that basin is full up, this pipe pulls the items down, and eventually they come here and they feed into the barrels. Nice and simple, and it works. I got all these blocks here by basically I threw all my ingots back into the smelteries in order to test it. So once I had it set up, I just took the 6 types of metal which belong in there, threw all the ingots in, and quite rapidly it made these blocks. Each block, of course, is 9 ingots. These glass covers are important, by the way, because they stop that fluid pipe from connecting to that fluid pipe, which would mix the metals up and jam everything up and mess it up. I've got some spare drains there if I need to do anything manually. I can add a table or a basin, do my own manual casting, stuff like that. What else to show you? I've made a start on this sort of storage area. To start with, I think I worked it out that that's 14. That will be 14 chests there, 14 chests there, and this is all the metals. These are all the natural metals. These two are alloys you need to make yourself. So I need to get all the stuff out of here into there. So for example here, I need to filter off all the metals and split them into the 6 that go into that one and the 3 that go into that one. And everything else I want to end up in these barrels. And I need to do that for all of these. Now, for example, I can throw the crushed gold ore and the pulverized gold ore and the broken gold ore all into the same thing, and they will all smelt. It's not going to be, the maximum efficiency, because obviously, if I took this broken gold ore, formed it into blocks, broke it with hammers, formed that into blocks, broke it with hammers, etc., I would get more. But this is infinite. This is just going to run forever. So efficiency is not that important. It just needs to work. So, how am I going to do this? I did have a plan, and it's gone out my brain. What is my plan? Yes, these chests I think need to be down there, because I need to extract from multiple directions. I think if I have a pipe set to extract and I whitelist the metals off in one direction, and then the item duct that goes in the other direction will blacklist those metals. That way the metals will always go that way, and they will never go that way. Everything else will go that way. This way will just be towards the barrels. That way will be towards a second sorter, which will separate the metals and then send them towards those two things. So, what is all that stuff down there? Well, what I did is I dug a hole through to the void in my house. I dropped a pillar of lava down, picked it up, and then dropped a pillar of water down next to it. And when water meets lava, you get cobblestone. So I had a nice solid, you can see it, but, well, I'll show you in a moment. But basically, I've got a solid column of stone that goes all the way down to bedrock, which meant I could then start building stuff underneath. I decided to start quite low, so if necessary, I've got different levels of height. I then just sort of built a platform up here, which gets me to the undersides of everything. So these are the item ducts that are extracting from the casting basins. And you can see they all just sort of merge together. There's the 3 from there, and then the 6 from there, and they go over, and they shoot up, and that's where the barrels are. This is my energy, comes down there, goes over to the underside of all my pulverizers. So I need to do something with those things. And I think I want to move those chests down to there, where these blocks are. Well, or in front of where these blocks are. That's why I placed the blocks there, was so I could put the chests in. That way I can still walk underneath them, which is good. And I can have extraction pipes going this way and that way. So let me just grab something I'm going to need. Because with the Better Barrels mod, there's this really useful thing called a dolly. And what a dolly lets you do is it lets you pick up chests or barrels which have items in them and move them around. Which is just fantastic. It means that I've got this chest, where are they? I've got this chest here and it's just chock full of stuff, and usually that would be a real hassle to move because you'd have to empty it first. But now I can just right click it, and now I've got the dolly. You can see I've got mining fatigue and slowness because it's quite heavy, but then I can just pop it down there. Bloop, 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 de bloop. Nice and simple. So, as far as I can tell, this is going to be really easy. Oops, I wanted to... Strange, I'm right-clicking with a crescent hammer. That usually rotates chests. Doesn't matter. So, I have item ducts on the back of all 3, with a pneumatic servo, whitelisted to the 9 types of metals. On the other side, I have another 3 pneumatic servoed item ducts, blacklisted to the 9 types of metal. So all other items will just go in this direction. This is where the barrels are. So I'm probably going to want to go up here, if I've measured this right. Yes. Oh, didn't mean to extract that diamond. So basically the item duct can shoot up that way, and for this one it can go up at the side here. Incidentally, I've discovered something that a crescent hammer can do, which means working with half slabs is so much more fun. The real problem with working with half slabs is when you wanted to put something down, if you didn't want a gap, you had to add a half slab to the top. And then if ever you wanted to get rid of it, you would chop away, and then both slabs would fall away. I've discovered that if you right-hand click a half slab with a crescent hammer, it just pops up and down. So you can use that as a planning tool and makes for easy building. So the metals that come off this way, I think will feed to another chest. Here maybe. Makes sense. So if there's a chest there, because these are the smelteries, and we're going to want to have input going up on them there, because I have to input items into the smeltery controller. So if I have a chest there, then again I can have extractors going to the left and the right, whitelisting the ones that are meant to go there and blacklisting the rest, and whitelisting the ones that are meant to go there and blacklisting the rest. That might not work actually, because I've got more than 9 types, haven't I? Because I've got pulverized forms, crushed forms, and the broken forms. And unfortunately, pneumatic servos only have 9 slots. I might have to filter off to 3 different barrels, 1 for each of them, and then do my split. It's gonna double the amount of pneumatic servos needed, but I can't see a way around it because I can't filter 27 items out of a single barrel. Hang on. I only need to do these 3 differently, don't I? And there are 3 different types of it. So that's only 9 things I need to filter. Once we get here, we will whitelist those 9 metals that way and blacklist those 9 metals that way. That works. So, hopefully, once I've got that built, I can turn everything on. All of my metals will auto-process into block form. All the other items will auto-sort into the barrels. And then we'll be pretty much set. Then I'll have a nice infinite resource thing running. After that, the only other thing I think I need to do is automate the production and filtering of dirt, because there is some stuff you only get from dirt. But this will be an excellent start. So, I am going to get on and build all that stuff that I just talked about. Tell me in the comments, would it have been better for me to build it first and then talk you through it? Or did you enjoy, watching me think it through? I never know. I never know which is best to do. So I tend to sort of just like go with a random assortment. Okay. Let's automate item sorting so I can just start this stuff up again and fill my barrels. So I accidentally placed a block of tin here, which I do not have a tool capable of harvesting. So I need to make myself a better pick. So that is what I am doing. I used the table thing to create the molds I need and left them in here. Tool rod, head, and binding. And I checked the book, which I keep losing. Materials are new. And the best one that I can make at the moment appears to be alumite. So this has got durability of 550. Handle modifier is 1.3. I might try and make the handle out of slime, actually. Because if I make the rod out of slime, then I get ×2 on the durability. So that'll be a durability of about 1,000. And then, for ages now, I've been making mossy cobble. Because if you place cobble next to an oak barrel, or next to an ex nihilo barrel, then eventually it turns into mossy cobble. So I should be able to use that mossy stone to make myself a block of moss, so I can make my new pick auto-repairable. Now the only thing I want to know... I need a slime crystal. I do have some slime stuff from my slime tree out there, so I'm hoping I can make a slime crystal relatively easily. I need to cook slimy mud by the look of it. So how do I make slimy mud? Dirt, sand, and 4 slime balls. Okay, why do you keep appearing and popping and falling on the ground? That's just annoying. I swear there's an inventory glitch going on all of a sudden. things are just sort of moving randomly. I have gelatinous slime. Ah, this stuff will turn into the slime balls I need. So, I need 4 of them, and then some sand and dirt, of which I'm pretty certain I've got a load in this chest here. Says my slimy mud. If I cook that, I will get a slime crystal, which I can use to make the rod. So, now for the actual casting. To make alumite... okay, that's aluminium, iron, and obsidian. That's not going to be auto-pumped out of here. So I can put that in. I made the obsidian using one of these igneous extruders. Basically, I turned off its output, and then I went into its interface, and I was able to tell it to do obsidian. When you tell it to make obsidian, it uses up the water and the lava, so I just replaced that once I was done. So now that's melting, I can then cast myself the tool binding and the pickaxe head. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get out. I mean, I put like 7 things in. So far I've just got aluminium. When those ones are done, then I'm hoping it will all mix together and we'll have alumite, and I can make myself a nice fast pick. Okay, I appear to... Okay, so I've got 3 ingots of alumite and 2 ingots of obsidian left. Okay, not sure what how I'll be able to get that stuff out of there. I'll work that out in a moment. So let's pour that onto here. So that gets me the head, and that should get me the binding. Now I want to clear that bit of obsidian out of there. So I'm hoping that this ingot cast will work. Not quite enough. Oh no, sorry, so that's the alumite ingot. There wasn't quite enough to fill this one. Which means I'm just going to have to waste the material a bit. Break that. Put the table back down. Add that again. Pour in. Obsidian ingot. Did not know such things existed even. So what use is an obsidian ingot? I can make obsidian nuggets. That's it essentially. It's just some obsidian. Right, crystal, slime crystal. So I need to use that in here. If I'm correct, yep. So that gets me my rod with a bit of with a slime shard to spare. I can then go over to my tool station and say I want to make a pick. So I have a rod, a binding, an axe head. So that's giving me a durability of 1100 because the handle is giving me ×2, and the rest of it is there. So now I wanted to add that block of mossy cobble to it, because that way it will be self-repairing. So 9 cobble gives me a ball of moss, and I believe I can just do this. Repair and modification. Place a tool and a material on the left and get started. What am I doing wrong? So this picture shows the moss there, the pick there, and that adds auto repair. Maybe I just need to click on the pick? No, because that's making a pick. It's possible it's something to do with the type of pick I've made. I just happen to have chosen one that cannot accept auto repair or something like that. Oh well, wasting too much time on this. Let's just get out there with my new pick and finally pick up this block. There we go. Harvestable. So that was the last of the barrels I needed, and I've already set up the pipes at the back. Now over here I've got a pipe set to dense, so if you remember that means it's the destination of last resort, and it's just going to a chest. So anything which enters the system that doesn't have a barrel available to it will just end up in that chest, and then I can configure and sort the system later. I decided to extend this all by one, so that meant I had to make a second set of hoppers. And the reason I did that is that this block here, I can replace it later with a second autonomous activator, and that way all three of these things will be able to run twice as fast if I do that. And then I could, on each of them, even add a third one. I could add one facing that way, one facing that way, and one facing that way. And this one at the end could even have 4, you know, because it could have another autonomous activator on this side. And that's good, because the gravel one is the one that gives diamond and emeralds and stuff. But I can make whichever one I think needs the most, 4 of them. So that's why I've done that. Other than that, I think we are almost ready to actually get started. So there's my item ducts. I have 10 pneumatic servos, which I think are enough. So let's get down below and see whether or not we can sort this out. Now, it's best to configure these systems in reverse order, in my opinion. So I've already got that stuff there. So if I pop these guys on, they're going to be output. Stick a pneumatic servo in each. Now, I need to blacklist the metals, because this side is going to connect up to here, which goes up to those barrels there and up to those barrels there. So I'm going to need the metals. Kind of wish my inventory was a little more empty. I can accomplish that relatively quickly by using a dump chest here. I won't put the books there. I'll never find them again. Open this, hit sort, so everything gets next to each other, and I'm looking for the metals. So that's Certus quartz dust. There we go, broken aluminium ore. And I've discovered that if you use the mouse wheel and scroll up, you can get a single thing out. So that's broken aluminium, broken copper, gold, iron, lead, nickel, platinum, silver, tin. That's just a clear glass cover that ended up in there by accident. And that's it for the metals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 metals. You need an empty hand in order to right-hand click on one of these things. So this side is going to blacklist. I am saying I do not want any of these metals running in this direction. So we're blacklisting. We've got all 9 metals. Redstone ignored, meaning it turns on. So if I connect this to there now, then this chest should empty of everything other than the metals. That worked perfectly. So now on the other side of this barrel, I do something very similar. I do that, configure it for output. Except this time we are whitelisting. So this time we're saying only metals go this way. Redstone ignored. And let's hook this up to this chest. Now, I only put a small wooden chest there because this is meant to just be a way station. It means I might overload it unless I've got this thing sorted. So I'll leave it like that for now. So I've just got to do that, and now I've done that side, I can throw these metal bits back in there. So I'm going to do that for both of those two, and then we'll go tackle that thing. So almost there. All three of those barrels are emptied of everything other than the metals. I did forget a step. When I checked after I did the first barrel, I went up here, and essentially items were just sort of in random. For example, I'd already set this up as a flint barrel and locked it, but I had these empty barrels unlocked. So basically, flint had just gone to the first available inventory. So what you need to do is you need to have all of your empty barrels locked when you run stuff into the system. Then items will only go to the places they're supposed to, or they'll end up in this chest. And so basically, then what I did was when I emptied the second chest, I went to this chest and there were maybe 5 items there. I just took them out one at a time and threw them into one of the empty chests. Empty barrels. You know what I mean. Anyway. So this is all 3 of them, and we do have some space left, which is good, because there's probably some other stuff I'd like to mass store, like cobble, dirt, sand, and dust. Maybe across the top there. So what is that? Cobble, dirt, sand, dust. And I can easily add a 3rd story to all of these, like a 3rd barrel across the top, and optionally even a 4th wall of them there. So this is basically, going to be my main storage area until I computerize everything with applied energistics, which I will probably do at some point. So now that that's done, we need to take a note of which 3 are supposed to go here. It's gold, nickel and copper. I'm having to write that down because I always forget, and if I get this wrong then the entire system is going to fall apart. So I have a little barrel here which we're going to come off to the left and the right on. Why is the barrel in the wrong place? Should be there. Better. So I need one of each of the types of examples of each of those things. So I need a broken gold ore, nickel. Yep, so that's nickel down there. And copper. And the same here. Give me a copper, crushed gold, crushed nickel. And pulverized copper, pulverized gold, and pulverized nickel. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 again. Which means we just do exactly the same thing here. Again, I need an empty hand in order to configure. So, this is the way we want them to go. Yes, the house is there. looking at it. Yeah, so we want them to go this way. So this way we whitelist. And this way we blacklist. I'm wondering whether I can place these. Nope, I should probably have done that first. Oh, this needs to be set to ignore redstone control. So we're blacklisting that way, whitelisting that way. I don't want to start the metals flowing in until they're already flowing out, because that chest's going to get a bit blocked. In fact, it might be best to swap it with an iron chest. I'll make an upgrade for it. So it's going to go into there and there. And it's a good job that I'm about done with this, because I'm running very low on iron. Anything else I need to do up here? Don't think so. I just wanted to connect those things. So the advantage of an upgrade is you can just upgrade a chest in situ. So now I just need to run those guys over to here. What's going to be my best route? I think like this. So that's defaulting to an input. I don't want to connect to that lot, although I do have some glass covers on me which I can use to prevent that. But I think I can just go over here. Not the most efficient connections, but it works. So these should be emptying of their metals. Yes, yes, yes. Which means we should have lots of smelting going on up there. I'm actually quite excited to see this working. It's taken a long time to get to this point. Right, what can we see happening? Yep, so this is full of crushed copper ore. Crushed aluminium. That chest there will have filled up as like a buffer chest. I may as well drop in the stuff I'm carrying. So you can see that the stuff it pumped out has already gone. So if we watch... There we go. It appears, and then it pours straight into these barrels. Once this, see, that barrel was full, and so it straight away solidified into a block and whisked off. This is excellent. So our metals should be increasing. Now I'm going to wait until the backlog is cleared before I turn on my machines again. Just because these things are going to be quite full. But it's actually going to clear it pretty quick, isn't it? This is kind of cool. So anyway, that's it. I now have a fully automated system for producing producing gravel, sand, and dust, sifting them, getting the materials, sorting the items I get from them. You know, diamonds. Sifting off the metal, splitting it into the different types, so I don't accidentally make alloys when I don't want to, and then processing them into blocks. Well, excellent. Wow, what do I do next episode? I think I work on automated dirt production and sifting that, because it's the last. It's the last source of resources that's not happening automatically. So I think in order to do that, I'm going to need a Mind Factory farm with something planting saplings and harvesting saplings. And then I'm going to have to compost some of the saplings. Is there a better source for dirt composting? I'm not sure. There might be. I will look into it. But either way, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'm quite proud of that. I like it. It works well. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.